What's going on, guys? Morning Mug here. Thanks for clicking on this video. Going to be checking out the AMA that Mark Cuban did on the Wall Street Bets subreddit earlier today. Pretty much every reply he has is either witty, funny, or has a lot of actually really good information in it. A lot of good insight from him, and a lot you can really read into from the mind of a very smart and wealthy guy. Be sure to leave a comment down below about what stocks you are holding, whether it's one of these meme stocks here or anything else. Leave a like if you think this content's worth your time. Drop that subscribe. Without further ado, picked about 15 questions here. Let's get into it. Let's start it off with a pertinent one here. Pink Lips Indy says, why is the stock plummeting so much? Mark replies with supply and demand. But in this case, it literally could be because the source of demand has been crippled. When Robinhood shut it down, then cut it back, let's put aside why, they cut out the greatest source of demand. They created a Robinhood dive. No RH buyers means sellers lower their price to find buyers. They keep on lowering it till they find buyers. Keep the most natural buyers out of the market and the price keeps falling. Then that drop accelerates because the more the stock falls, the more owners who bought on margin get margin calls. Then the margin call happens, it's brutal. They just take your stock, send you a note, and sell your stock at the market price, no matter how low. They just want to get your cash and pay the loan back. That then accelerates the selling, which then leads to what we're seeing in the market right now with GME in particular. So what to do? If you can afford to hold the stock, you hold it. I don't own it, but that's what I would do. That's what Mark Cuban would do. Why? Because when Robinhood and the other online brokers open it back up to buyers, then we will see what Wall Street Bets is really made of. That is when you get to make it all work. I have no doubt that there are funds and big players that have shorted the stock again, thinking they are smarter than everyone on Wall Street Bets. I know you're going to hate this, but the lower it goes, the more powerful Wall Street Bets can be stepping up to buy the stock again. The only question is, what broker do you use? Do you stay with Robinhood, who is going to have the same liquidity problems over and over again, or do you, as a group, find a broker with a far, far, far better balance sheet that won't cut you off and then go ham on Wall Street? What are your thoughts on the volume of the last couple of trading days? And also, what is your view on the practice of naked shorting / short laddering? I actually love to see the companies I own shorted. If it is a company I want to own, I know the shorts can be squeezed, and if that company does really, really well, then the shorts will have to cover, creating more demand for the stock of the company I own, pushing the stock price higher. Back in the day, I used to run a public company. I used to tell anyone and everyone I knew who didn't believe in us to short the stock. As far as naked shorting, that is not really a thing. Yes, there can be more shares shorted than their original float. That is by design. If I borrow a stock from you to short, and when I short it and your buddy buys it, then they can loan it to someone else to short, etc. All of these people who borrow the stock paid to do so, and they realize that if enough people buy the stock and ask for the shares, they will get called in. So the chain of custody is there. The system is doing what it is designed to do. So again, the more people shorting the stock in the company I own, the better. Where you have to be careful is when the shorts are in the stock because the company is a fraud. If I short stocks, it's only in companies I think that are fraudulent and are ripping off people. I actually produced a movie about one element of this, the China hustle. How do you think the SEC will respond to the GME situation? New regulations on retail trading? The SEC is a mess. I wouldn't trust them to do the right thing ever. It's an agency built by and for lawyers to be lawyers and win cases rather than do the right thing. If the SEC gave a ton about anyone other than Wall Street, you would be able to go there right now and read a bright line guidelines about insider trading, shorting, what is a pump and dump, and what are rules for cutting off the purchase of stocks like what happened with GME at all. But they won't. They would rather litigate to regulate, which means they love to sue people in order to create new legal precedents. All you need to know about the SEC and how badly they want to the little guy is that they will have the option of using judges that work for the SEC when they sue you, rather than have the option to have jury of your peers in front of a judge that is independent. That's how bad the SEC is. If you want fair markets that doesn't benefit Wall Street, call your local politician and show them this. What single piece of advice do you have for us to succeed in shaking this up? Patience. Disruption is never easy or a straight line. Is what you believe in still true? If it is, stay with it. If not, figure out what changed, learn from it, reload for the next asset. As always, do the work. Assets, including stocks, move for a lot of different reasons. Trading stocks isn't easy. Trading crypto, NFT, whatever, isn't easy. None of this is easy. You know what it is? It's time consuming and brain consuming. And when you learn share, if you want to beat old Wall Street, you have to share the knowledge and find the power in numbers. What do you think could possibly change in the market after all of this is over? Any new regulations on your mind? Mark replies with, what has happened the past few weeks with Wall Street Bets has all happened before. It was just the big guys doing the battling. The only new thing is that Wall Street Bet traders took them on. Volkswagen was the short squeeze that was even crazier at the time. Ackman versus Icahn on Herbalife was similar to this, but it was big money versus big money. Momentum and technical trading has been going on forever, which is really what is happening now, broken down into charts and graphs. What I love about this now is if you pick your spots right and work as a group, you can hit it again and again. With this kind of volatility in the market, had Wall Street bets forever changed the way things will be done on Wall Street? Mark replies with, yes, Wall Street bets leveraged the value of community. They took it to the people and made it bottom up. There's so much power and upside in this. Sometimes it's expensive to learn. Anyone who has traded for a while has learned an expensive lesson they couldn't afford. I know I have. Next time Wall Street bets will be smarter, and next time can be still around GME, AMC, etc. There will be a point in the stock where Wall Street starts saying, I told you so. Let that happen for a few weeks, then hit them again at a broker with the financial strength to never have to shut you off. This is a good question for a person with the perspective with a lot of money. Is it in the realm of possibility that these hedge funds just don't cover their shorts at all? They go full felon and act like it never happened, a la fake news. Mark replies with, their goal is to never cover their shorts. But that would take the company going out of business or being delisted. That won't happen here. Best thing you can do is hold on to the stock and do business with GameStop. If everyone goes to their website and buys from them, that is going to help the company, which will help the stock, which will help everyone here. If you believe the reason you bought the stock and that hasn't changed, why sell? Here's a tough one. I lost 15K in BlackBerry and that shit is tanking hard. Do you believe it will rise in the future, or am I holding on to a dead stock? Mark replies with, I have no idea. No one really does. I do think that once Robinhood and others open up, buying some of these will pop up. I just don't know how much of it will happen for sure. I think the stocks are getting shorted because the shorts know that the natural buyers, the folks on Robinhood, and others like it are being prevented from buying. So that will make it most likely the stock will go down. People don't realize how shorts jumped in when they saw the buy side shot off. Stepping away from GME for a minute, what are your thoughts on the stock market this year? I see the most unjustifiable prices on the many popular companies, and it makes it hard to keep money in the market or expand my portfolio. Any advice? Mark replied with, 1% interest rates change all evaluations. What is wrong or right is hard to determine. What is the right valuation? That is what the market is supposed to tell you. Stocks that don't pay dividends are only worth what someone will pay for them. Pretty cryptic way of saying buy low, sell high. Mark, what do you make of the blatant market manipulation and short ladder attacks occurring right this very minute by the hedge funds? Mark says, I don't think it's manipulation. I think the rules are set to benefit them and they have years of experience exploiting those rules. Your congresspeople have to change the rules to make them fairer for small investors. They haven't given a shit up until now. Maybe people on this board can change their minds. Here's a good one for some people that are struggling right now. Do you have any advice for people who have lost a lot of money in the last few weeks and how to go on from this? Mark replies with a great answer here. I learned some expensive lessons when I first started trading. It was painful, but I tried to learn what I got right and wrong. Right now, right here, the game is changing. The hard part is ask yourself what you believed is actually happening. BTC hodlers are a great example to follow. Many bought at the highs of 2017 and watched it fall by more than 2/3. But they held on because they believed in the asset. The same applies to stocks. When I buy a stock, I make sure I know what I'm buying. Then I hold on for dear life until I learn that something has changed. The price may go up or down, but if I still believe in the logic that made me buy the asset, I don't sell. If something changed that I didn't expect, then I look at selling. Here's an interesting one. Would you ever consider opening a brokerage that's truly for the little guys like us? Mark's answer is quite interesting here. The challenge is not opening the brokerage. The hard part is dealing with success. What f***ed up Robinhood is that they didn't have enough cash to handle the number of customers they had, their margin loans, and the requirements from the DTCC. They have now raised more than $5 billion, and that may have not been enough. And it's not like they are charging for any of their trades. The question becomes whether or not buyers would pay a commission or even a tip to a broker for doing their trades. Crypto has no problem paying a transaction fee. You may have to do business with a broker that charges you so that you don't get like in a Robinhood stop the buy situation again. Here's a techie one. Given the maturation in public cloud and computing and its impacts on bringing down company startup costs, and the subsequent rise in edge computing / distributed computing, i.e. a lot of compute capacity being built out globally, albeit not in traditional x86 architecture. When you do think we see grid computing, essentially public cloud business model on top of sensor meshes finally becoming a thing. Anyone who can offer a revenue stream on top of your capex would have an AWS-esque business, no? Mark's reply is, it's starting to happen now, from mesh networks connected to traffic signals to much, much more. I'm an investor in a company called Mesh Tech, and they are putting their tech everywhere. As far as productizing it, yes, anytime you can turn what you do inside your company into a product, that is something worth looking at closely. This one's great with a level-headed answer from Mark as well. What do you think about the media? Lying about what Reddit Wall Street Bets is talking and excited about. For me, it showed that the world is evil and everyone is bot. I still trusted some media, but you really can't trust any of it. Anyway, my question is, do you think the Robinhood class action lawsuit has a chance? Mark's reply was, as I said, pretty level-headed here. It's not about being evil, it's about being lazy. They write stories. They don't do much research, so you get stupid being stated about things they really don't understand. Hey Mark, thanks for doing this. What are your thoughts on which services to use? I'm planning on getting out of Robinhood for obvious reasons. Any retail trading companies you'd recommend? I want to support free trade and hit Robinhood in the wallet for what they've done here. Also, any legitimacy to a class action lawsuit against them? Mark's reply is, pick the brokerage with the strongest balance sheet. What ruined it on Robinhood is that they didn't have enough cash to deal with the growth in accounts, margin loans, and volatility. The exact same thing will happen at the next broker if you don't make sure they have a multi-trillion-dollar balance sheet to be able to handle these types of circumstances. And there will be class action lawsuits, and they will be combined, and they will win, and you will get a check for less than $10. That's pretty blunt and probably very accurate. Final thoughts here from Mark. First, thanks for the great questions. Thanks for changing the game. Thanks for taking on Wall Street. Thanks for making kids around the country, if not the world, including my son and daughter, happy. He kind of forgets a word here, I'm not sure. Wall Street Bets changed the game far more than anyone on this board will ever get credit for. That said, you will do this all again. You will go after Wall Street, and the next time you will be smarter. There was only one thing that messed you all up. Robinhood and the other zero commission brokers that everyone used didn't have enough capital to fund the fight. They let you down in a big way. When you load back up, find a broker with trillions of dollars in assets on their balance sheet. Someone that can be there when the fight starts and without a blink of an eye. No disruption is easy or happens in a straight line. Stay with it. I'm a believer.